Next speaker.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Strickland, Mayor Pro Tem Vandermark, seated members. My name's Don Kennedy. When I Googled what country has the highest immigration rates in the world, of course it was no surprise it's the United States of America with over 50 million immigrants. In fact, it's not even close, as Germany, number 2, has only about 15 million. So why is that? Well, I believe it can be found in the first and last sentences of our Statue of Liberty, starting with, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free." More importantly, though, ending with, "This country's greatness and true genius lies in its diversity." How is this incredible beacon of freedom, equality, and diversity symbolized? The answer is clear. It's our beautiful American flag, the most inclusive flag in the world. This beautiful, inclusive symbol says to the world, don't worry about your race, your creed, your religious beliefs, your sexual preference, or the other aspects of your identity. You are all welcome here. That is why people come here. Freedom, equality, and diversity. Having been here since 1962, I've known Huntington Beach to be a great city representing freedom, equality, and diversity. We're a welcoming city. Huntington Beach is a great city. The HB I know loves freedom, strives for equality, and welcomes diversity. I also know that the council's choice to limit what flags fly on government property is not an attack on any of these ideals. Conversely, it's an act of inclusion because it says to the residents that the government is not in the business of picking cause flags because there are many. Because there are many, and if we pick one and not another, then that act itself becomes exclusionary. It's really that simple. So I know Huntington Beach welcomes the gay community. Huntington Beach does not discriminate against the gay community or any group for that matter. The gay community is making some healthy strides. You're welcomed, you're thriving, you're present and seen, you're proud and you're accepted. My advice is to relish in the positives and stay the course. These threats of economic sanctions, this errant, irresponsible, and what I would call misguided hate speech I hear from some in your community is not helping the cause. The cancel culture that some support is reversing the progress that's being made, and I find it very harmful. We all know no one likes a bully. And when I see corporations, current and past council members, etc., preaching division to me, that is the ultimate act of exclusion and division, and it does not come across as inclusive. The American flag is the most beautiful, inclusive flag in the entire world, whose stars and stripes have been forged by the blood and sacrifice of millions of Americans of all identities and
10
beliefs.
seconds. 10 seconds.
Millions have fought and died to secure this ideal. In closing, I believe identity politics is divisive. It's not helping the gay community. It's a sign of weakness, in my opinion. It needs to stop.
Thank you.
God bless America. God bless the American flag, offering liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker. Next speaker.
Good evening, Mayor Strickland and City Council members. I'm Sherry Kennedy. We are a city that welcomes everyone, but picking one group over another is not how you treat people equally. The American flag covers all Americans, no matter their race, sex, religion, sexual orientation, or identity. I am in support of item 23. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.